lovely summers, SimsEclaire here and welcome back to my channel. For today's video we are doing kind of a fun home. I've had this one planned for a while and this is obviously one of my save file builds, and this is going to be in the same neighborhood as the land grab, so this is in the more affluent area. And my idea for this home was that it was owned by two athletes. And they didn't really spend a lot of time here as, when they first got married, because they were always on the road doing their, sport things. One of them was an Olympic swimmer, one of them was an Olympic skier over in Mount Komorebi, and so they never really spent any time here. So it was very much just like this undecorated, unused space that they came into whenever they had off from training or whenever they weren't competing. But now they are a little bit older, they are now adults, and they're coming to the end of their careers and they've decided to adopt a family. So they realized a little bit later on that they could not conceive themselves, and they both really wanted children. One of them is family oriented and they're both really, fun loving, goofy people, so they really wanted to have a family, so they decided to adopt an entire set of siblings. So they found these three girls, a teenager and two twin kids, who were up for adoption, and no one wanted to adopt the whole set, so they were going to have to split them up, and they decided that they would take in all three. And despite the fact that they weren't quite sure how much space that they had, because like I said, they didn't actually, live in this home all that much, so when they decided to take in all three, they had to do a couple of renovations. So both of the bedrooms that they added on are a little small. There used to be some closets that they had to store all of their sports equipment and stuff, but they turned them into some bedrooms for the kids. And of course the kids don't really mind all that much because the kids are used to, the orphanage that they're from, so they're just happy to have their own rooms. And I think that this family is going to be so much fun to play with. They're called the Summers family, and I haven't given them all their skills or anything yet. I've only just created them, but in my head, like I said, I thought that the dad was an Olympic swimmer. Now, we don't actually technically have that in The Sims, so he would just be an athlete and be at like the top of his career. And then the mom I thought was an Olympic skier, so I'm gonna give her I'm gonna give her a really high skiing level and then kind of maneuver it so that she makes money off of skiing in Mount Komorebi. And then the two twin kids I thought were definitely going to follow in their adoptive parents' footsteps. They were always out swimming with their dad, or they were out playing sports with their mom and skiing, and they went on vacations all the time to Mount Komorebi. And then the teenager, I thought, maybe kind of wanted to do a little bit of a different path. She had kind of grown up in the system, and she had grown up trying to take care of her siblings, so I don't really think she'd be as into sports, because sports are so regulated and so, you need so much discipline, and I think she's so used to having discipline in her life that she just kind of wants to be free. So I definitely imagined her being a little bit more of an artistic type, into music or something like that. So I decorated her room accordingly. It's very bright and light, and it has a guitar in it, and then I put some piles of sports equipment because I thought maybe they had bought it for her, thinking she would try out for sports in school, and then she just never did. So I definitely think that that's going to come into play when you play this family, if you do decide to play this family, when you get my save file, if you decide to get my save file. But yeah, so right now we're doing the landscaping, and it's very simple and it's very small. So this is the only section of house that actually has any landscaping. It's right at the front. The lot that I'm using for this build wasn't that big, and I gave them a really big back patio space, so I didn't have a lot of empty space to do landscaping on. And like I said, I didn't think they spent a whole lot of time at this house anyway to begin with, so I don't think that they would have a lot of plants or anything that they had to take care of because they would just die. So I didn't want to do anything too fancy. And then right by the front door, I was having an issue fitting anything, so I decided just to do some pictures from the fitness stuff pack, and that's kind of like the theme for this house. I use a lot of the fitness stuff pack because, like I said, they are both athletes, so I thought it kind of fit their style, and it's very minimalistic. So I figured it was very much like, this is our first home, we just got married, but we're not going to spend a lot of time in here, so here's a couch, here's a chair, and here's all the necessities because we can afford to buy them, but we're not really going to spend any time here. So that was kind of my thinking. I did, though, use these Moschino couches because I didn't really like how the fitness ones looked here in this living room. They just weren't really suiting the style I was going for. And then I also ended up changing the layout just a little bit because I only have this tiny little space for the kitchen. And I did that on purpose because I didn't think that this family really knew how to cook. Obviously, they were away doing their sports all the time, so I never really thought either one of them learned how to take care of a family or to cook or do anything like that. So I thought that they probably did a lot of takeout, and maybe the dad was trying to learn how to cook because he'd always wanted to know, and now that he's getting ready to retire and he has this family, he's like interested in learning. So I thought that maybe he was quickly realizing this kitchen was a little small, and maybe he was going to end up doing a different kitchen, or like maybe extending the house a little bit into the backyard area, since they do have such a backyard, such a big backyard. Wow, I can't talk today. So that was kind of my thinking. So that's why I purposely made this kitchen very small. I'm also using technically it's an outdoor kitchen set. It's the Perfect Patio, but I really liked how the black and white wood or black and white stone looked with the black and white accents I have running through the rest of the home. I thought it just matched the best, and I also never used this one, so I wanted to try and use it because it is a really cool kitchen set, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense to be outside except for, you know, the drawers and everything. So I do usually use it. If I use it, I use it on the inside, but I don't know. It's such a hard thing to be able to use. And then going over here, like I said, I didn't think that their family had a whole lot of clutter yet, so there's just a couple of picture frames and some plants and stuff, but nothing too fancy, nothing to kind of distract from the bare necessities of the home. And then I'm trying to pick out some artwork because I thought the walls just looked a little bare and I wasn't really feeling it, so I just wanted to fill it up just a little bit more. And then we are about to go into the living room after I change the lights, because we have these really gorgeous lights from Fitness Stuff Pack. Like, I love these lights. I used to use them in every single build that I had. And then when I started this channel, I started forgetting to place lights in builds. I would just use the surface lights. So I stopped using them, but considering the majority of this house was Fitness Stuff Pack, I wanted to be able to use them. And then in here is kind of like a half bath. I mean, it's not kind of a half bath. It is a half bath. And I am regretting that decision because with how many Sims are living in this house, you're definitely probably going to want to have more than one shower. But that could kind of be a challenge. You know, like I said, this home was definitely not supposed to be built for a family. They weren't planning on having a family when they bought it, when they built it. So that could be a little bit of a challenge, part of, you know, the makeover process of the home. But now we're into this little cubby area. And I wasn't quite sure what to put here because everything just looked so big. I was initially going to do like a little seating area, but I didn't want to block the ability to, you know, walk into any of the doors. So I did decide just to leave it. And then here is the main bathroom. So it has a shower, and a toilet and a sink. All of them should be functional. I will test it before I go on the gallery, or before I upload this to gallery, but I'm pretty sure it's all functional. I really wanted to use these Eco Lifestyle doors because they look the best from the outside in terms of matching this house, but they have this stupid like barrier around them. You guys can see it on the entranceway to all these doors, and I just don't know why they did that. It doesn't make any sense, but I really liked how these doors looked, so I decided just to leave it. And then going into here, this is going to be the kids' room. So like I said, the bedrooms are very small, so I did decide to go ahead and use bunk beds because I thought that was the only way I would be able to fit 2 beds in here. And I decorated this one with the base game dinosaur wallpaper. It had like this neutral tone, and I figured that they probably decorated these rooms, at least like painted them before they adopted the kids, because they weren't sure what they were going to end up with. So I thought they like kind of kept it neutral, but, you know, added some flair and stuff here with things that they would have enjoyed as children, so like dinosaurs and stuff. And then I wanted to make sure this room stayed functional, so I didn't put too much decorations on the floor. I gave them a scout board because I figured they were probably definitely in scouts, and then a couple of toys, and then I also gave them a school project. Now, I don't think that's functional the way that it's sitting because it is like angled through the wall. And unfortunately, you do need a lot of space to work on those school projects. So if you wanted to work on it, you'd probably have to move it outside. But this is going to be the teenagers' room. So like I said, it is very light and bright and colorful. And it has a whole bunch of different colors in it. It has the orange and the green and then the yellow from that little ottoman sitting there. And I thought that they probably gave her a computer to work on her schoolwork. And then obviously that sports equipment that I was talking about. And then also a guitar. I thought maybe she might have an allowance and she went and bought the guitar without them knowing. And then she like only practices it when she's when they're not home, because she thinks that they're not going to approve and they're not going to like it, but I think they might be a little bit more open than what she thinks. And then I also thought that she really did admire her new parents, so she had like framed jerseys of them up on her wall, so that way she could like show her support and appreciation for them, because I think that despite the fact that she doesn't really want to do sports, I think that she definitely supports her parents and appreciates them for taking in her and her siblings so they didn't have to get split apart. And then in here is the master bedroom. So I do end up extending it because I realized it was very small for a master bedroom and it didn't have enough space for literally anything. So I'm using this Get Famous bed, and then I do end up extending it over just one tile piece to the left. So that way I can kind of sneak a wardrobe in, so that way they have a dresser, because none of the kids' rooms have dressers and none of the kids' rooms have mirrors either. So there was nowhere for Sims like get changed or get dressed or anything. So I wanted to kind of make sure at least one room had a dresser. So I added it in here. I used the new base game one from the birthday update. And then I added a little chair with a plant corner just to fill in the space a little bit. And then here above the bed, I'm doing a shelf with some wall decorations. And then I think I also placed some candles and then some books and stuff up here. That way it gives a couple of more activities for the Sims to play with. And then I'm decorating the room very simply. I thought that they had this new picture of their new family, or maybe that was one of the old sports teams that they played on, something, you know, reminiscent for this Sim. And then I'm also adding these wall decorations just to kind of fill in the space. And then I think I add a picture up here. Oh no, I do the trophy shelf. So I know that technically the trophy shelf is from the kids' room stuff, but I thought since they were Olympians and that was the only trophy shelf we have in game, I thought that that was kind of fitting that they would probably have their trophies up on the walls. And then in here is a home gym. So like I said, when they initially got this house, they only used it when they were off schedule for training or for meets and stuff. So I definitely thought they'd have their own home gym, so that way they could stay up, like stay healthy and stay exercised and all that good stuff. So they have like this little home gym, they have a yoga section, they have a treadmill and a weight machine, just enough stuff to make sure that they can stay, you know, their muscular selves. And then out here is their very large patio area. So I used this I think it's from Jungle Adventure, the like canopy type thing made out of wood, because it matched the wood tones I was using on the home, and I thought it would give a nice little shade area for them to have like a sitting room kind of outside here, so that way when they hosted parties or stuff, people had a place to sit. But besides that, that is it for this build. So I hope you all enjoyed this one. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all next time. Bye!